What's great about doing this programme is sometimes you can press a button and play a song.
The first time I saw you, I knew I was falling too fast. You reassured me that what we were feeling would last. So I held you close in my arms, then I surrendered my heart. Just like a storybook romance, you played me so well. And the more I believed you, the harder I felt. Something was missing inside, and when I opened my eyes, where were you? Where was I? When our world started crumbling, I searched for a reason why. I looked deep in my heart, trying to find a reason you take all my love and leave me behind.
It's the voice of the woman who's performed with artists including Queen and Cher,
I can remember the past.
but perhaps is most recognisable in her role as that of the powerhouse female vocalist for Meatloaf.
Can't bear that I
American singer Patti Russo heading out on tour next month, which will see her come to Leicester, and I'm really pleased to say I'm listening to her with this record, but she's down in our London studio. How are you?
Hello, Andy. Oh my God, this is a first song ever played in the UK. One of my songs. Thank you so much for that.
We'd like to get on the good side of you.
I'm chuffed to bits.
What's it? You know, we get you on the show. You're doing your own solo tour.
Yeah, how cool is that?
But for all of these years, and I know because I've interviewed him,
Dun dun dun.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Do you get any semblance of sense when you're out on the road or not?
I'm me. I'm me. He's him. You know, he's who he is. I am who I am. I am who I am.
And
Everything's a song.
How did it come together? How did you end up going out on the road?
Well, with him, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually answered an advert in a paper in 1993, picked up a newspaper. I was just telling this to someone, actually, and picked up the paper next door. I was working in a hair salon and went next door to go pick up a pack of fags and sat in the back of the hair salon and was looking through and found that he actually put an ad in the paper looking for a singer to tour the Bat 2 album and that tour. So the rest is history.
But
so
you've got to look after your own, though. You've got to look after your voice as well. When did you know you had this big voice?
Well, I think
that
it's
you've got?
in the family. You know, I'm Italian, so everybody in my house growing up, everybody was saying, it's a constant. It was a given. So, but the voice was, definitely. I always tell everybody that while my mother was stirring the sauce and I'd be sticking bread in there for Sunday dinners, and she'd be hitting me with the spoon to get so I'd be like vocalizing without realizing. I was like, no. So all of a sudden you didn't realize that.
In a household like that, then you're not backward at coming forward, are you?
But boom.
So, I mean, as I said, you work with Cher and Queen and lots of the big artists around the globe. To be a singer and do things like that and sort of be sharing the stage, as it were.
I was sharing the stage with Cher. I mean, that was a crazy one, just getting that gig, because she was talking about Cher for a moment. She was my idol growing up, and we have the same birthday, and I can remember as a kid, grabbing the candles off of the dining room table. That was my microphone, putting on all my mother's, little nighties, and just flinging my hair back and forth and wanting to be Cher. And, cut to like 20, 30-something years later, I was on a chance flight from the UK going to LA to do a TV show with Meatloaf and his daughter, and run into some friends of mine who happened to be there flying in from the UK to go out on the road with Tina. And as fate would have it, we were all staying at the same hotel. meet downstairs at the bar, which which eventually happens, and met one of the guys that happens to be touring with Cher as well. And I said, man, if she ever needs a singer, if she's ever looking for somebody, please keep me in mind. And you never expect to get that phone call. And blimey, I did.
So does luck play a big part?
It's crazy. I mean, it's just the way my life has been. I mean, it's just random things, I mean, I used to warm up to Queen before all the Meatloaf shows, and then one day we were doing Wembley Arena and Brian was there, and I was just like, for me, who's one, I mean, I'm never at a loss for words. I mean, my jaw was just like poof, and then just becoming friendly. I mean, Brian's a great guy, and then one thing led to another, and who the hell would realize that I'd actually be singing with them? I mean, I did a gig with them. The most memorable one was in Amsterdam for the Queen's Day Festival. And in front of 90,000 people, here I am singing The Show Must Go On. And Under Pressure, and another one, Bites the Dust. I mean, I'm looking around, I'm going, is this the Twilight Zone? This is happening. This is really happening.
But that was going to be my question. When you do look around and you see who's next to you on stage.
Yeah, it takes, definitely, you have a minute there. And it's just, I don't believe it. It's crazy because up until now, I never had any representation. It was just all these crazy random events that have brought me here to you, Andy, at this moment. And look, today you played my song. None of my songs have ever been on the radio.
Well, you see, that's it. We're friends forever now.
That's it. We are tied and joined.
We're gonna have a break, and we're going to play another one of the songs that you are on. So it's you and me together for this one, and then we'll come back and talk more about what you're going to be doing on your solo tour.
Yay!
After this.
Okay, thanks.
Past one, talking to Patti Russo. She's starting her first solo tour around the UK. It starts off in Southampton on the 10th of April. Closest to us, well, Birmingham on the 13th, Sheffield on the 17th, Leicester on the 23rd of April. But before all of that, she's in the studio in London for us this afternoon.
Hello!
You are such a big singer. How do you look after that voice?
Oh, God. Horribly, I'm afraid. I'm terrible. I'm not, I'm not trained. I'd be, I'm sure everybody just putting their hands in their head, just going, oh, you got to be kidding me, Patti. I'm a rock and roll chick. What can I say?
But when you hear that song back, it's almost like it can't get any bigger, and then it does, and then it doesn't. Then we throw in the kitchen sink when it comes to production. So are there people in the studio going, just a bit more. Just turn it up to 11.
Just a little bit more. Can you just this one goes to 11.
But do you know going in to a song like that just where you're going to finish up with, or is it just left to you?
Well, I pretty much. I think it's left to me. I mean, obviously, the big. You know where you're starting and you know where you're finishing. But the one great thing performing live as opposed to. The recording, because once it's done, it's done. And you always want to change it. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there, myself included, that every song that you put out or, finish, it's never done. You're like, oh, I wish I would have done this, and I could change that up. That's why I love live, because live, you're going with the energy of the crowd. So it will change. The songs change as you're performing them. And I think that's the magic of live. I love live.
Do you like to work a song before you go into the studio, or do you not get that opportunity?
Well, it depends, because, first the songs have to magically appear. You could sit there and have a moment that nothing is coming out. It varies. But, once something starts and starts buzzing around in your head, then you're frantically trying. But you do have to walk away too sometimes. I had a bit of traffic a couple of weeks ago because I've got a lot of songs that are not quite finished. And I was multitasking. It was layers. I heard, the chorus to this one came to me, a little changeover in this one. And I was like, oh my God, it was like multiplicity. I needed like 3 of me to deal with this.
But apparently women can multi-skill. I can't say anything.
Of course we can.
And talking of multi-skilling, not only performing on stage with some of the rock greats, you're not averse to doing a bit of West End, are you?
No, and that's another crazy one. Here we go, my crazy stories. So at the time, Meat was off doing a movie, I think 51st Date or something with Samuel Jackson. And his agent at the time, John Giddings, hi, John, he phoned me up and he's like, he was managing or taking care of Tina Arena, who had actually done Notre Dame. And he's like, Tina's going to be doing the show, but she's not going to be there for long. And I just think you'd be absolutely brilliant at this role of Esmeralda. And I was like, John, well, look, I've never acted. I don't know what to do here. So they were actually performing. I said, let me go off and see it. It was being performed in Vegas at the time. And I went and saw it, and I was like, I could definitely do this. And so I was waiting around. I was impatient. I was like, okay, I want to do this. I need to do this now. And John's like, well, hang on a minute. We don't have an audition. I was like, too late. Already booked my ticket. And I booked my ticket to come over to the UK, and bam, I got it. So it's crazy.
It's also, you look good in a corset as well. That's the other thing.
Oh, well, there I wasn't wearing a corset for Esmeralda, but now you got to just put me in one of those shrink wrap things.
What do we get if we're going to come and see you on this?
Oh, you
solo
have to
tour?
come and see me. Come on, come one, come all.
But
yes,
what are you going to do? I mean, you've got it in the back of your mind. You know exactly what you're going to do when you walk on stage, but sell it to me.
Yes, sell it to you. Give it to me, baby. Let's see. Well, I'm going to do, a bit of, the artists that I've worked for, as well as my own music. The guys that are backing me up, they're dear friends. I've known them forever, and we're going to have, it's all about, it's fun and rockin' music, and everybody's going to enjoy themselves. Trust me, you're not going to be watching paint dry.
I tell you something, you've already had people like Louise James and Lloyd James get in touch with me this afternoon. Amazing singer. Saw her last May in Nottingham with Meatloaf. Also, she's amazing. She's total class.
Yes.
You're getting a stamp of approval here.
Woohoo! I love you more than my luggage, Andy.
So once you've done this small tour,
I know, and then I'm going to go home. I just want this thing. I want this train to be, I want it to be a runaway train. I want it to keep going. But it's kind of writing itself. The whole thing has just it's just, I don't know. It's happening so fast that it's just been like kind of putting it together with like spit and polish, but having a laugh and having fun with it because it's the unknown.
It sounds like it's just a ball. But one thing I want you to promise me. Do you know in your memoirs?
Yes.
You will say that Andy Potter played me first.
I did. I just Twittered it, actually. I tweeted it. I did. All right. You're at Potterman, right?
That'll do
P-O-double-D?
Yes. Yeah.
I did. I put that out there.
Listen, Patti, thanks so much for coming on the programme this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, Andy, and thank you for doing that. I'm no longer a virgin, thanks to you.
Thank you very much indeed. And at that point, we leave Patti Russo.